We're back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. It's time for a Season 2 of Par Retrospective, where we've combined all of our Season 2 content and fired it into one video, so you don't have to go searching in the playlists and across the depths of YouTube. So strap in, strap back, reel it in. It's time to rock and roll. And yes, we do sound like Walter Flynn on this channel. Killed off far too soon, in my opinion, in Power Book 4 Force. But regardless, let's go for episode 1 right through to 10.
It's a brand new season of Par, guys, here on Fog Entertainment, and we are kicking off, literally, where we left off. And that's exactly what I like about it. This episode is also called Consequences. And yeah, practically where last season ended is where this season starts. So we have Tommy still wearing his attire that he killed Nomara in, and he heads to Angela's house and he thinks he's going to kill Angela here. Turns out she's no in bed though. She's actually getting slabbered at by Frankie, who's like, Angela, you've just blown a massive move in your career. We see Ghost, he's been interrogated by the police, like, why were you chasing this woman even though she was in immediate danger? And he's like, I don't know, that's what I did, big man. Ghost is in more hot trouble when Tommy discovers him and Angela were set to go to Miami. They were going to flee. Said on the name tag, James St. Patrick. Holy moly, things were about to turn south here. Tommy thinks he's been betrayed. He thinks, holy shit, Angela is a cop and that Ghost was going to sell me out. We then cut to Conan. He gets ringed. Well, his son, Sean, gets rung by Tasha saying about the attack on Ghost, and Conan thinks, oh shit, what the hell's going on here, brother? Testify, I expected this bitch to be dead. But she's no dead. Tasha and Ghost then talk, and Tasha's kind of, I don't really like the fact that Tasha's like trying to make all these moves for Ghost, and then she's like, there's one thing I do want from you, Ghost. Stop seeing Angela. And then Ghost is like, oh, for fuck's sake. Also, the other like side mission in this episode was the old rich guy that owns all the nightclubs basically has now bought the street. Well, not bought the street, like, but he's bought the company that Ghost, the truth is on. So yeah, he's hoovered that off Ghost. Ghost is not happy about it now, so it looks like Ghost has like pretty much no option at this point to sell his nightclub, give this guy a partnership, get in bed with the devil. I'm just not a fan of this. There's like a million other things going on here. Ghost is trying to get a hold of Tommy. He's going around the streets. He's trying to get all the distributors locked down because obviously he's now trying to push double the product at this point. We then have like a meeting with the FBI. Frankie is getting moved. I can't remember if she's getting moved to like Ohio or something. And then we get the new guy who's been brought in from California. But of course for him, he gets shafted because that is where Lobos managed to escape their grasp in that task force. Sean and Kenan show up. This like garage. It turns out this is like a contact of a Pink Shoes lady. And Kenan obviously wanting to put everything to sleep here. It isn't exactly happening because he wants to find out where she is. Obviously, I feel like at this point he wants to make sure this secret never gets out that he's moving against Ghost, which is fair enough. I know what I found was funny when Tasha told Ghost to stop seeing Angela. The next scene is a sex scene between Ghost and Angela. Oh, that dirty dog. We also see Tommy break into this like house. He's trying to get like money together. Then he gets hit in the back of the head with a baseball bat. We later figure out that we'll find out this is his mum. His mum is rung by Ghost in order to like find out, because obviously Ghost trying to find out where Tommy is. And it turns out his mum was actually lying for Tommy. His mom. We're introduced to Tommy's mom. And yeah, I have a bit of a runny nose, so if it sounds like I'm snorting cocaine, I certainly not. But Tommy and his ma absolutely were. It's literally their sole existence this episode for a large part of it. I don't know, it just seems like, obviously I know, I'm not saying, you know, people who do cocaine, it's not limited to people who are like, you know, young, but to me it was a bit weird seeing this like fucking 65-year-old woman snorting gear, baby. But anyway, moving on, I guess. We see Kenan. He then meets with this other crew. They were a bit hostile at first, but once the leader came out, it's everything. And then this guy reveals to him, he's like, yeah, you were good. You did good for me inside. You kept me alive. So if you want to go to war, my crew and me have got your back. We're soldiers for you. So yeah, Kenan quickly making moves as he's out of jail. Ghost meets with Ruiz, trying to get him on board. Ruiz is kind of on board. Ghost is kind of a bit reluctant though about the whole guns thing. They have the wake for No More, which Angela visits. And I think it was pretty evident here that she's going to try and use Ruiz's daughter, which is quite some shady shit from Angela. If we're being honest about it, it really is. I don't see how this is going to really hold up, if I'm being honest. But Ghost's world seems like it's coming crashing down at the minute, man. Things aren't looking good for him. Greg then confronts Angela. Greg says he's not allowed to speak to her about the case. So obviously, she is freaking out here. We've got Tasha and Ghost in bed. Ghost's like, you know what, actually, maybe I should pay Tommy's mum a visit. And Tasha's like, I back that decision. Normally she welcomes my visits. Not today, though, you little bastard. And then we got a good scene, right? This was a very, very good scene. With Tommy confronting Ghost, he's like, it all makes sense. You and your little fucking hot piece are going to sell me out. You're going to live happily ever after in Miami as I take all the years and shaft it. But obviously, like, rather quickly, Tommy realizes that Ghost doesn't actually know anything about this. And then he reveals that Holly was shot, which obviously Tommy does not take too well to this. Tommy then gets his coat and he heads for the hospital where he discovers Tommy discovers Holly, damn it. It's looking good. Tommy's back, but yeah, I can see Tommy not doing too well with this. Ghost then takes his gun. He goes to meet with Angela, and I'm sitting here thinking at this point, damn, how is this going to play out? What is actually going to happen here? Is Ghost going to, like, just walk in and absolutely drop Angela? I like the way season 2's begun. We've got 50 Cent out in the street. I'm looking forward to seeing 50 Cent in action, actually, like on the street, laying the smack down to all these people. I'm very intrigued to see how that's going to actually play out. So yeah, we have that. But Ghost goes in. He's like, "So, honey, how was work?" And that is how we end episode 1 of season 2 of Par. I like the fact that it was like seamlessly just followed season 1. I don't mind like a 2-week time skip or something for like the events of the previous season. But see, when you do like 9 years, like fucking Walking Dead does, man, 9 years, it is a wee bit shite, and there's nothing anybody can tell me to suggest otherwise, guys. But for this episode of Par, I'm going to give this episode of Par a 7 out of 10. I'm interested to see how this show is going to go. Is Angela... I personally would have went down the route of Angela found out about Ghost first rather than Ghost finding out about Angela, but here, I'm not the writer of the show, so I'm interested to see how this is going to go down, guys. But anyway, leave your thoughts down below. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, and until episode 2, that is Consequences, big man. Fog Entertainment back again with another Par review, and we are looking at, damn it, episode 2 of season 2, and this one is called No Friends on the Street. And we kick off the episode, we are seeing the double and blow. We are seeing the effects it's having. We got a wee montage, we got Ruiz getting delivered his shipment. I like the start. We then see Angela and Ghost in bed. She's decided she's going for a run. He's like, "So what are you doing with work, man?" She's like, "I gotta keep tight. I gotta keep this tight for you, homie." So yeah, Angela's trying to keep her body tight. Oh, hell yeah. She then meets with Greg, but Ghost is seeing this from afar, and obviously he's not too impressed, which you can understand, but this is nothing between these two. Obviously, she's kind of just trying to find out information. Also, this episode, Ghost becomes the old white rich guy's bitch, which I wasn't exactly a fan of. It looks like he's going to have to actually go down to Miami for real. We then see Tommy and Ghost heading towards the hospital, to which they're talking about all these contacts. They're basically just giving each other like a quick wee recap and going over what the hell's going on recently. Well, Ghost is still kind of suspicious of Ruiz's involvement. We then see Pac. She confronts Angela. Angela's like, "But I love him, Pax. I love Ghost." Ghost and Tommy then have like another final confrontation in the hospital before like they go see Holly. He tells Tommy about the fact that Holly addressed him as Ghost, and that I thought you were better than that. You know me 25 fucking years, and here you are dishing out my code name to this bitch. To which then Holly receives the flowers for Tommy. But obviously there is a bit of beef here. There definitely is a bit of beef between Tommy and Ghost, which is interesting. We then see like a task force update, and I've got to be honest, see the fact that Angela is no longer on the task force, it kind of just doesn't. It's kind of lost not all its importance, but you've lost Angela and Frankie, who are two pretty big deals. If we're being honest, like two pretty big deals. We then see Angela meets up with Nomar's daughter, not Nomar's daughter, Ruiz's daughter, who of course was Nomar's lover, even though he was banging a 14-year-old. Fucking weird, man. Not weird, nonsense. He deserves the death penalty, sort of thing. So yeah, this goes down. She says, "I know you won't give up your dad, but could you identify the killer?" And then she shows him like the picture of the sketch that Nomar did. Obviously, it is attempted to be a sketch of Tommy, so that's going to be interesting. Tommy and Holly have like a heart to heart here, but the fact that here you use the name Ghost, you're not allowed to use the name Ghost. I do genuinely feel though it feels a bit forced that like Tommy is so willing to like stick with Holly. I'm not saying like love is love and whatever, like he loves her, like, but at the end of the day, it seems like she's compromising an awful lot, which is mental. We then get the big man. We get Tommy going to the guy. I can't even remember his name, but the guy that plays Marlowe in The Wire. They go to him. We sit down with him. Ghost then comes home. Sean then appears, and then who appears from behind him? It's Kanan. So yeah, that's a good wee scene. We see Ghost reuniting with Kanan. It's like, damn man, the time did you good and all this shit. He's like, I can't believe you're out. He then says to Tasha, Kanan's like, you've aged. And then obviously like she kind of took that bad. But I think he was more, I haven't seen a woman in 10 years, man. In 10 years, homie. But what I will say immediately here is Kanan is a big boy, man. 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, whatever you want to call him. He's quite tall. He's quite intimidating. This has definitely been my favourite thing about season 2. The fact this guy is out and about. He's out on the streets. Looking forward to this. Then Tommy walks in. He's like, I heard the fucking news, man. The whole Kanan asks how his business. You can clearly see that Ghost doesn't really want Kanan involved in business straight away. Well, at least that's the lie that he feeds to Tommy. But it's intriguing. Obviously, you've got Kanan who's trying to wipe these two out, but at the same time, well, he's trying to wipe out Ghost, but he knows in order to wipe out Ghost, you're going to have to take Tommy along with it at the same time. But like, we can't pretend Ghost is an innocent party here, because he's clearly trying to put some distance between himself and Kanan. So it's interesting to go. Then Kanan confronts the mechanic. He hasn't found out where the woman with the pink shoes from Miami is, so he just decides to drop him. Tommy then goes to the Russian contact, but he's like, no, I need to protect my family, man. I cannot do this with you. Holly then goes through her phone, finds all the messages that Tommy left her, obviously, thinking that she was still like alive last episode. Now she's like freaking out, like, oh god, that's not good. Tommy and Ghost get wind that the mechanic guy is dead, and they think that Miami must have did it, damn it. Tasha then visits Holly in order to like pull her close, but always Holly sees right through this. I think it's a decent sort of like power struggle that's going on here, but nothing insane at the same time. And then Sean kind of confronts Tasha, but then she kind of like blows him off, like, oh, me and Ghost are good now, Sean. Anything we had was a job, but didn't you do anything? That's the funny thing about it. And also, it's just more the fact that she's like, me and Ghost are good now, and they're just not. Kantos returned. Seems like we haven't seen this guy in ages. And turns out he is actually the new boss of Ghost. Like, how weird is that? He's the real like supervisor of truth, and he's been placed there by the big rich white man. So yeah, that's an interesting dynamic. The FBI then lock up one of the members, who I believe is cousin to the third in command of Ghost and Tommy. I have no idea what the guy's name is. I'm sorry, guys. I probably should know by this stage, but they haven't really done a really good fucking job of pointing it out. They try and like threaten him, try and get him to give people up. They ask him who's Ghost. White man. He's like, man, that sounds like a childhood story along those lines, which I thought was pretty funny. Tommy then visits Ruiz. Everything's good here, but then Tommy's telling Ruiz to get good with the BSKs. Which Ruiz is like pretty much not going to. And then he's like, oh, but man, you said that made us blood, homie. Angela then confronts Greg. Greg finds out the fact that she's trying to use Ruiz's daughter, and he's like, that's not very fucking pretty illegal, and it would get her sacked. She then logs into his laptop, obviously knowing that Tommy came up earlier as one of the potential sketches, and then she knows if she hears the voice, it'll be Tommy, and she does hear the voice when she manages to get into Greg's files on the computer and figures out that it is Tommy. So this is quite groundbreaking, to be honest, in the slightest, man. Ghost then breaks into Angela's. Well, I say breaks in. He has a key. He goes through all our files, finds out there's nothing really incriminating him or Tommy. It's more about Nomar. They have dinner. Blah blah blah. Ghost and Tommy then talk about it. We've got the whole party for Kanan going on. The cousin of the third in command, he meets with his cousin, like, you crazy, man? He's like, you gotta lay low. Get out from your crew. The heat is about to be unbearable. Then we get a funny scene where Kanan's getting sucked off. And then, like, Sean walks in. And he's like, hey, Sean, you want a bit of this? After he, like, yeah. He finishes off in her mouth, so to speak. And then it's like, what the fuck, man? 2-for-1 deal going on here. This is a wee bit weird, damn it. Then we get, like, an ending montage. We get Ghost banging Tasha. We have Holly and Tommy. Tommy basically confirming that he's like, I'm going to stick with you. Oh, damn it. And one of the conditions with Ghost being able to reopen Truth is that if he gets it above 20% profit, he's ordered to buy it back. But then that's the whole reason Cantos been put in, so he cannot buy it back. Ghost, though, he heads off for Miami. And who's on the plane with him? It is none other than Angela. But the real reason he's going to Miami is to kill the girl. And this is Cali Ocho Market 1191 SW8 Street, damn it. But anyway, guys, that is it. Close episode of Power. It was alright. It was just one of those episodes of a season that is pretty much filler. Nothing really happened. The best thing about it was that Karen got out, but I would probably go as far as saying it was one of the weakest episodes of the season, or the series, sorry. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10, guys. But until next time, leave your thoughts down below, and peace. All back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. We're looking at Par, episode 3 of season 2, and we've got this one, Like We're Any Other Couple is the name of this episode. And what I liked about this, half of it's in New York, half of it's in Miami, but we kind of guessed that after the way last episode ended. We see Tasha wake it up, but Ghost ain't there, obviously. He's in Miami, damn it. Then their son jumps in the bed. I can't remember, is Tanique? Is it Tanique? It's something like that. But for Tasha this episode, she basically just figures that she doesn't have Sean wrapped around her finger like she thought, and her friend more or less is attempting to do that. Sean, I feel like he's going to get put in a crossroads sooner or later, and they've kind of been planting the seed for that since day one. But what was my favourite part of this episode? It was definitely Kanan and Tommy teaming up together. We see them going to the laundromat, where it's revealed to them that a few of the guys are pulling out and that there's a lot of hate around them, which obviously pisses off Tommy. Kanan's just getting used to things. It was just, you know what, CC and 50 Cent actually like a predominant role this season. It's really good, and I feel like they did a really good job. The fact that in season 1 he was locked up and then he got out. I'm really enjoying this whole dynamic this episode. Of course, Ghost is in Miami on a whole secret mission. He spots pink sneakers in the distance when he's taking a picture of Angela. So yeah, he knows where she is. She's at her grandfather's shop here in Miami. But by the sounds of it, it sounds like she's going to be leaving at this point. Angela keeps getting a few phone calls for Greg Knox. She manages to get through to him. And he basically reveals to her here that Tommy has to be the one, because they've managed to find a few pictures with his car in the vicinity when he met with Ruiz, damn it, and all the other like crimes that they've been looking into. So at this point, Tommy looks absolutely done and dusted, and I thought, I wonder how long they're actually going to drag this out to where Tommy is jobbed out by Ghost, or there's that dynamic or element of where Ghost has to pick between Angela and Tommy, and it looks like this episode is it. Ghost, though, of course, his other side mission here in Miami is to go to one of the clubs. He tries to get Stern's deal through, but it's no happening. And when Angela reads through the small print, yeah, it's blatantly obvious why this ain't happening. It's just no one would ever agree to these terms. But Angela, in her own right, manages to convince Ghost to like go through it, and Ghost actually manages to get this guy to go through it, even though they talked about it like 15 minutes prior in the episode ago. The scene where he agrees to it, where no one on God's green earth would agree to this. But here he is agreeing to it. So, yeah, this Miami club boss doesn't really seem all that bright. Angela then talks to one of the higher ups in Miami in the FBI. See if you can get a potential switch down here, because that's where she wants to live, damn it. That's where we want to live. And that's exactly what's going on. Kanan then makes a phone call, and he sends a guy down to Miami to take care of the pink sneakers bitch. Because, of course, that's always the problem with him. The fact he teamed up with her to take out Ghost and Tommy, she could always just rat him out at any point. So things aren't looking particularly good. Ghost then heads into the shop, but turns out she's no there. It's her grandfather, and he plays it really cool and manages to get out without really arousing any suspicion. And we then cut to Tommy and Kenan. They confront Cue Ball, Quickers, whatever he's called, this guy. And this is a funny scene. They're basically trying to get this guy on board. He's like, no, I'm not getting on board. I'm taking the Russians' product. It's cheaper, and I can move it my own way. All this stuff. And he's like burying Kenan. And then like Tommy is like set on leaving. And then Kenan's like, you know why your name's Cue Ball? It's because your mother was sucking niggas' dick for 25 cents. And he's like, what the fuck? And he just shoots him. I was like, holy fuck, 50 cent, man. Laying the smack down here. And this is what we've needed in this show. Because see, Ghost, he's very hesitant to pull the trigger. And like in season 1, it was like, all club business prioritised over any business. Kenan here literally just drops this guy, and it was brilliant. And Tommy goes along with it. They leave no witnesses. So they kill the main guy and the two other like tenants, I guess you could say. But obviously, this is essentially Roller's crew completely and utterly wiped out here. But this is sadly the last point we actually see Tommy and Kenan in this episode. But not the last time Tommy gets mentioned, because Angela obviously trying to get Ghost here to testify against Tommy. She first like confronts him about think Tommy's doing anything illegal. And it's at this point, like, Angela's shown her full hand here. She's, like, revealed that they think the one behind all this, like, drug activity, the guy with the nickname Ghost, is Tommy. And Ghost is like, no, it's not really. And he's like, oh, but this will stay between me and you. Like, obviously he's a bit fuming. But I kind of expect him to kill Angela or something, or completely part ways. But I don't know, obviously he's got a bigger play in hand here. I don't know what he's going to do at the end of the day, but I guess if he kills Angela, then like a year's time, the rest of the FBI figure out that Ghost is in fact Ghost, then the murder looks like it could be him, because I mean people will find out that he was with Angela. So yeah, but I think it was a bit weird how Ghost literally just like kind of blew this off. It's just like another it's just another day, sure, Angela. It's like he heard it all before. It's like, hold on here, Angela, the so-called love of your life, just admit it to literally being on the verge of arresting Tommy and wanting you to testify. I feel like other shows would have did this more justice, but maybe his love for Angela completely trumps his friendship with Tommy, or maybe both of them are getting twisted here. Who knows? But he goes into this restaurant with Angela, and then Pink Sneakers walks in. She looks in the mirror and sees Ghost. Ghost says he has to go to the toilet. He chases after Pink Sneakers, but then the guy that's leading like one of Kenan's sub crews, is obviously in Miami. He catches up to her before Ghost can, and he stabs her like 3 times. And then as Ghost gets to her, he catches him running away, and he's like, "Who ordered it? Was it Rolla? Was Rolla the one that ordered the hit?" And then she's like, "You dumb motherfucker!" Obviously saving Kenan's bread here, man. Because if she said no, it was Kenan, that would have been Kenan absolutely destroyed. But obviously, right, that reveal that Kenan is like plotting against Ghost and Tommy, I'm not expecting that to come out in episode 3 of season 2. Hell, he literally just got out of jail like 2 episodes ago, so I feel like that's going to be dragged out. Hell, maybe that'll never be found out, because I mean there is 6 seasons of this, and then a few like power books after it, so I'm intrigued to see how this is all going to go down. And then the episode ends, guys, with Angela and Ghost touching back down in New York, and you can clearly see here that Ghost has obviously lost a bit of trust in her. You can see this is evident, but I think he's still in love with Angela, damn it. But anyway, guys, this is probably one of the better episodes of the show. I like the stuff in my... it was a big reveal, and I like the Ken and Tommy stuff. If I could give it a 7.5, I would, but we don't do that unless one of us gives it an 8 and one of us gives it a 7, and sadly, I'm the only one reviewing this, so it's a 7 out of 10, guys. Until next time, peace. You're the only one I can trust, homie. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Party. Even though it's actually titled "You're the Only Person I Can Trust," not you're the only one that I trust. But we do kick off with Kanan giving it to his wife, or the mother of his child. I'm going to assume that they were married or some form or the other, but it's quite a funny scene. Kenan's getting some action, man. Sean is sitting down stairs, and then it was kind of just a funny scene, and like they kind of just play it off. But I enjoyed for what it was. But then cut the ghost. He's lying in bed. Tasha's like telling him what's happening the day. His son's got a history project in school. Ghost. His head's spinning though. He doesn't really give a damn about what's going on here. And throughout this episode, the case against Tommy is building, and you wonder what is the breaking point truly going to be here? Like, what is going to happen? I feel like Angela's going to die before Tommy gets like arrested or whatever. I don't feel like Tommy's even going to get arrested. I feel like that Tommy will not even find out there was a case against him. But then again, I guess if Angela dies, then that makes him look more suspicious. I'm intrigued to see how this is all going to work out, guys. We cut to Tasha speaking to Sean. You kind of get the feeling here that they're kind of done, but Sean's like, oh no, but I've got feelings for you, Tasha. Come on, baby. You want to ride on the Tasha bus, boy. Which is kind of funny. But we then cut to Tommy and Holly, and when boy meets girl, damn it. And these two, she's not very happy, right, that he is like just keeping her locked up. So he gets her a puppy this episode. And we do see Julio, everyone pronounce his name, he came over and she's like, no, it's alright, you can come in, we'll have a wee talk, I'll get you a drink. Which obviously Tommy's not very happy about. We'll get to like the payoff of that scene a wee bit later on, but this was filler, all this stuff, wasn't it? It's weird, like I know like they're trying to play, oh, Tommy has this fetish for redheads, right? But at the end of the day, man, I just just scenes that aren't really interesting me in the slightest. But with Tommy, all his cars getting placed at a lot of crime scenes that they're investigating here. Ghost actually steals a bit of money from the drug operation ring. We see Ghost's meeting with Kanan and Tommy, but Ghost is still suspicious of Kanan. And I was wondering, like, why is Ghost so suspicious of Kanan? Is it because he just, like, Kanan's been away for 10 years and he just wants him and Tommy? But it revealed in this episode, I thought it was a very good reveal, because I thought maybe Kanan just wanted it all for himself and that's why he wanted to wipe out Ghost and Tommy. But it turns out, big reveal later on in the episode, that Tasha and Ghost lock Kanan up, and that makes a lot more sense rather than like making Kanan just come across as like, like a backstabber. So I'm a fan of this. Tasha then phones up the hotel in Miami and they're like, oh, did you enjoy your foot rub? And then obviously because of that she's found out that Ghost took Angela, damn it. We see a scene where Tommy and Kanan are sitting down with Kanan's crew, and one of the guys is making fun of Tommy, like next he's gonna be eating chicken and eating watermelon, cluck cluck cluck. Obviously trying to make fun of the fact that he's a white man pretending to be a black man sort of deal, which I thought was kind of funny. But you can clearly see Kanan was looking at this guy like, I'm gonna drop you. And let's be honest, guys, that's the way this song is going. Sean then sleeps with Tasha's friend, but then he goes back to Tasha at the end of the episode. He's like, but I care about you. Like, have Tasha and Sean even slept together though at this rate? I don't even think they have. Or maybe I missed it. Or they just glossed over it. Like, I know like they've kind of alluded to, like maybe they've done something, but there's been no scene with them actually doing anything, so only time will really tell at this point. We then cut to Sean, damn it. Sean, obviously, kind of stuck in two worlds here. He's not exactly loving life. Is he going to pump Tasha? Is he going to pump Tasha's friend? Or is Kanan going to pump him, brother? Ghost then goes to like the reception of his like apartment. And the receptionist says, oh, you don't have access to the top floor your house because your wife changed the code. And obviously she's changed the code because because, damn it, he jobbed them out and he took Angela. Looks like Ghost and Tasha are splitting up. Now, I feel like this is weird. Like, obviously, there's been build up, right? But it kind of just came out of the blue, if I'm being honest. So, a bit weird how it just happened, but she's like, we're done. So, Ghost obviously been kicked out of his household. I mean, big moment for the main character to go through this. But at this point, Greg takes like the case of Tommy to like the higher ups, the guy leading the task force, Sex, and other people, and it looks like they're gonna push ahead. It looks like Tom Egan is fucked because, of course, for now it's been under wraps in terms of just Angela and Greg knowing about it, like the last couple of episodes. But now looks like Tommy Egan is going to get jobbed out. Tommy then shows up, punches Julio because he was over having a drink with Holly's, and he's like, "You were in my house with my girl." It does sound dodgy, and what I noticed is Holly did have a change of clothes between the scene when Julio was there and when Tommy came in. So maybe they did something. She had a shower. I don't know. But I don't think they did anything. I mean, I really care if they did anything, man. It does just scream filler to me, like, personally. I do not care about the character of Holly, if I'm being honest. But we'll see where it goes. But it's funny at this point that they actually all think that Ghost is Tommy. Which I guess it makes for an interesting dynamic. It's even at this point, you still got Ghost meeting up with Angela, and she's like, "Oh, still speaking about Tommy." It's like, when is Ghost going to pull the trigger here? See if it ever got out that Ghost knew this case being built against Tommy and that Angela wanted him to testify, and he knew this whole time. Surely that would warrant Tommy killing Ghost. Tommy's not going to buy the bullshit of, "Oh, well, Ghost, I know you were in love with Angela, so it's alright." Surely. And I mean, surely he wouldn't do this. We've got Greg like scoping out Tommy's apartment, and he notices Holly leave, which was intriguing to say the least. Kanan hears about the fact that Ghost is split up for Tasha, and Ghost goes to visit Tasha at the history play at the school or whatever, and he confronts her. He's like, "You're the only one I trust, and I think Kanan knows that we put him away." So big, massive reveal. Big fan of this reveal because, like I said earlier, it doesn't make Kanan come across as a backstabber. Makes him come across as like an OG trying to take his fucking turf back because the guy at the top betrayed him, which I think makes for a better dynamic rather than just him being like, power hungry, so to speak. But Ghost coming up with a patter of "you're the only one I can trust." Really? Really, Ghost? Here you are banging Angela? I thought the reason like he loved Angela because like they were childhood sweethearts and you could like trust her. I just don't feel like he loves Tasha. And to come up with this pish of, "Oh, you're the only one I can trust." The day they split up and the day she's like decides, "Fuck it," he took her to Miami, betrayed my trust twice. There is no, I don't know, this is stupid. I get it, right? See across all the main TV shows, apart from Walter White probably, like all the main characters probably cheat on their spouse. But they don't say in the same fucking scene, like, "Oh, you're the only one I can trust." Like, see when Tony Soprano and Carmela split up, did Tony be like, "Oh, you're the only one I can trust, Carmela"? No, because it would have came across as weak. And it did come across as weak here for Ghost. Absolutely, man. But yeah, she doesn't listen to this. She's like, "You're not getting back in the house just because Kanan might be on to us." Obviously, Ghost was trying to use this as a way to get back in. You could maybe argue that, but I feel like it was just a cheap ploy for Ghost to try and get back in. He tries to pay Holly to go away and leave Tommy alone. She's like, "No, it'll break his heart. He'll just try to find me." And then he's like, "Well, then you break up with her. Break up with him. I'll give you a few more days." But before she can get a few more days, Greg arrests her. Greg pulls up. He's like, "Holly, the people of Ohio would think a different thing." So obviously, Holly's got charges in Ohio, and you see this across every fucking TV show. Watching this, watching Dexter, like Sons with Cherry and other shows, right? How many people in America have done crimes in other states, but then they go to new states, and it's almost like it's all forgotten about, and half of them don't even have new identities. So like it's not how America is. Like, you could literally do a crime, flee the state, go to another one, and no one's even gonna bother. I mean, or is this show's just taking the piss? This could be done to a degree for like minor crimes, but most of these are big crimes. So I think at this point, Holly is gonna give up the Ghost here, literally give up who the real Ghost is, and that's gonna take the attention away from Ghost. It'll be interesting to see this. Kanan then shows up at Tasha's house and gives her a couple of gifts. He's like, "Oh, I heard about the rough patch you and Ghost are going through." And then he goes back down the left and she's like, "Oh,
takes the gun out of the crack of her arse, reloads it. It's like, damn. It's like, well, they're portraying Tasha here as like a fucking OG. If Kenan wanted to, man, he Batista bombed her right through, the penthouse, but he didn't. And talking of Kenan, we cut to him and his like gang's leader, and the guy earlier who's making fun of Tommy's in the boot, and Kenan's like, shoot this motherfucker. You deaf? Then he walks over, we see the Brooklyn Bridge in the background. He's like, was he taking a puff of a cigar? Or was he just having a wee simple stare? No, it was a cigarette he was puffing on. Epic wee outro, really fan of this. I'm enjoying Kenan, man. I think season 2 as a whole is probably just a wee bit worse than season 1 to this point, but I feel like Kenan is like the difference maker, which will probably make me prefer season 2, if that makes any sense, guys. But anyway, I'm going to give this episode a 7 out of 10, but until next time, peace. We're at the halfway point, guys, of Power. It's episode 5 of season 2, and we are looking at who you are and who you want. Long titles, Power, man. They always produce these big long titles, but let's see what we're going into. We have got Holly. She is being interrogated for the brunt of this episode. That is pretty much the plot line for like the whole FBI Angela side of things here, but they're not really getting anything out of her. Sax is the way in there, but obviously Angela like knows more stuff, but she's just not really being put onto this case, which I thought was intriguing at this point. I like the dynamic of this, because I thought like Holly might have just been a throwaway character, but she's not a throwaway character, and you know what, this really developed her character in my opinion. We then see Ghost, he meets with Stern. I'm just not a fan of this Stern guy, I'll be honest, guys. I feel like every time he's on the screen, I just don't care. I just, like, in season 2, they're trying to, like, not show the club as much. They're trying to show it from a point of, like, it's like, there's, like, business problems rather than, like, inside truth. But I'm just not a fan of it, I'll be real. I'm just not really digging this, if I'm being honest. Tommy then meets with Kenan's, like, right-hand man. Kenan's crew isn't really too happy with him, if I'm being honest. They do not like Tommy. And what I didn't like about this episode, Kenan wasn't in it. Kenan did not appear. Greg, though, is tasked with going around all to Tommy's known associates, and he goes to confront James St. Patrick. He confronts Ghost himself here, but obviously Ghost is not giving much information away. He's like, I wouldn't know if Tommy's doing anything illegal, which I thought was quite something, man. It was quite something. Tommy and Ghost, well, I'll say Ghost gets a phone call for the cartel. I don't like this cartel leader guy. Honestly, I don't. Is he actually gay or something? Which I mean, there's no real issue with that, but it's just the way he like speaks into the phone. It's almost like he's sucking. If you catch my drift, honestly, man, at this point, it's like, what is this guy doing? But he's demanding at this point for the funds quicker, which then Ghost and Tommy have to come up with a plan to do this. They have to expand their territory. Ghost visits Ruiz. He says, right, well, we just wipe out the Serb and take his territory, but then Tommy wants a compromise. He says, no, we're not going to wipe out the Serb, but we'll take away the Serb's connection, which means he has to fall in line with us and he can move our product, which I think was the smarter move. And to be honest, I feel like Tommy makes all the smarter moves compared to Ghost. I actually do not really understand why Tommy is kind of under the thumb of Ghost. Now, they have kind of changed their leadership to a point where it is Tommy and Ghost at the top. But if I'm being honest, man, I think Ghost's a bit of a fraud. Sometimes we do see him like catching up with his son Tariq, but I mean, it was kind of a wee bit filler at the end of the day. I wasn't really a big, massive fan of this. But then the big man, Angela's boss, he goes in, he gets Holly to start talking here, and you think Holly is going to be snookered, but Angela finds out that the crime she did in Ohio went away, so they really have no right with her. But obviously Angela does not let this slide, doesn't she? Not in the slightest. Then we get a scene where Tasha confronts Tommy, and I wasn't a fan of this scene. Tommy should be like, who the fuck are you talking to? I mean, if him and Ghost are equal, why should Tasha get to speak down to Tommy? Like saying, oh, you should have told me about Ghost. Why should he betray his best friend? Why should he do that? Why should Tommy betray his best friend for you? He is. I'm not trying to say here that Tommy is not friends with Tasha. Of course he is. That's not what I'm trying to go for here. But I just don't understand why she is such a hard-on for him at this point. It's like, oh, you betrayed me, Tommy. It wasn't just Ghost, it was you. Wise up, man. Absolutely wise up. Play the game. Tariq then returns home
to Tasha, and Tasha grounds him for visiting his dad. God forbid the kid wants to visit his fucking dad, and now he's grounded for 2 weeks. He's not allowed to play the PlayStation. He's not allowed to play Assassin's Creed. It is all over for him, and I felt sorry for Tariq here. I really felt sorry for him. It's like an absolute mess, personally, for Tariq, and Tasha's just becoming very unlikable. I've just got a feeling that she's probably going to be one of those characters that survives right to the end of the show, and I'm not a fan of that. It's a big rich town, just not for Tariq. Assassin's Creed is out the windy. We then have like I just was not a fan of this scene. We have Ghost trying to confront Stern, his wife's there, and you've got all these people wearing like the GIMP masks. This is like very reminiscent of Squid Game. But I think this is what happens with higher ups. They have it's just like a fucking orgy, and they all wear these wee pish masks. I hate this. Fucking Parr is doing a lot of things right in my mind, but see this Stern storyline and this Stern character, I just do not fucking care for him, and it's just filler. I don't care. Ghost does not need this. There's a million and one things going on at the minute. I just do not care for this. We then get Ruiz, Tommy, and a few of Ruiz's guys like take down the Serb contact. They steal the drugs. They basically just wipe out his pipeline, so to speak, which forces the Serbs' hands. They then spray the wall, saying "You filthy gypsy." So in time, this will point to the Albanians that have done it, because he's like, "That's only a thing the Albanians would say, you little bastard," which is quite intriguing. So the Serb does find out about this. He's like, "Fucking Albanians will pay for this." So yeah, Tommy had this all planned out, didn't he? Tommy then visits the Serb and then basically locks down the contact here with the Serb. But yeah, you can use us and mine and Ghost's product, and we'll be able to do what we can do. Guys, they've filled the gap. They did not need to kill the Serb. And Tommy proving again, for me, why he's just the better leader here. I mean, he comes up with the smarter ideas and also just leads pretty well. Holly then gets shown a bunch of pictures of the BSKs that got killed. Of course, this was Kanan and Tommy's work, but it's not really happening here. She also gets given a sandwich and an OJ, but at this point, she's not giving up anything, so she goes to the bathroom. But at this point, Angela wants a word with her, but she notices Angela outside, and when she does, she's like, "I need you to tell me the truth, damn it." And she's like, "I know who you are. You're the Latina that Ghost was banging." And she's like, "What do you mean?" "No, Tommy's Ghost." And then this is the big reveal where Holly's like, "How would it feel if your bosses found out you were the one fucking Ghost and not me?" And then we get like a sad montage of Angela realizing like James St. Patrick is Ghost. And these two love each other. It is a bit of a sad moment. And then the episode wraps up with Angela meeting James, Ghost, whatever you want to call him at this point. And Greg spots this. And obviously he must be thinking in his head, what the hell is going on here? She's sleeping with the enemy, damn it. And not just a high school friend anymore. And then what I liked about this is she asked Ghost about, "How was your day? How was work, baby?" And of course, that's exactly what Ghost asked Angela back in episode 1 of this season when he found out her true intentions and what she does. And now she's found out his true intentions. But for me, it was a decent reveal, her finding out about Ghost, but I did not think she'd find out through Holly. I'll be brutally honest. But anyway, guys, I will give this episode a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. But until then, peace. Oh, hell yeah. I'm from a big rich town, yeah. Why her, guys? Welcome back to Fog Entertainment, and we are looking at episode 6 of season 2 of Par. And I'll admit, I feel like the last couple of episodes have been quite slow. And to be honest, we've had no Kanan, and I feel like the entire story arc about Angela knows now about Ghost. Ghost knows about Angela, and like Tommy's caught in the middle of this with Tasha. It just seems like the same rehash shit we're doing every episode. Like we're one wee more secret comes out. It's like, is there nothing else that we can bring to the table? Like, really, I don't understand why Ghost at this point is even like, can he even trust Tasha? Like, I know they're trying to spin it now of a case of, oh, you need to sleep with with Angela to keep this case under wraps. But honestly, guys, I was really into this show, but the last few episodes have made me not fall out of, like, I don't love it by any means. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I mean, maybe by the end of the show I will love it and I'll look back at this, but I don't know. I feel like we're just going around in circles at this mid-season point, but only time will tell. Angela and Holly are meeting at the diner. Just more like generic information here about, hey, who's Ghost, man? So yeah, Holly's trying to free herself here, but is that going to work? What is going to happen? I don't know. I just feel like this whole story arc is absolutely going to run in circles at this point. But of course, Angela's not too impressed about Ghost finding that out. It's just a big rich town. Yeah. Tommy then visits the Serb, but he's busy throwing an appropriate breakdown to the Albanians that apparently attacked the shipments. We all know it was Tommy and Ruiz, etc. And then we see Ghosts come in, and at this point, they sit down, the Serb is on board, and then he takes a fucking chainsaw to the Albanian, cuts him in half, does whatever he wants to him. Holy shit. Ghost and Tommy leave the building to discuss this. Ghost is like, that was a show of power, that was a fucking threat. We do not need this guy on our team, but Tommy's like, is it not better he's on our team than against us? I kind of agree with Ghost here. This guy's a fucking loose cannon. But at the end of the day, if you needed someone to move the product, you needed this guy. At the end of the day, so yeah, he's a psycho, but it's better to have him on side than not. But it just shows you though, if word ever got out that they attacked the Serb, I think blood is gonna hit the absolute floor with that one. We get a bit more filler, so to speak, with Tasha visiting like the school principal. Things aren't going well with Tariq, damn it. Not going well whatsoever. Ghost and Angela then have dinner. I just don't like the whole beating around the bush stuff. Then I feel like when Ghost found out about her, I know it was like only a few episodes ago. I still feel like it felt like a genuine relationship. Now it feels forced. Like they know that much about each other. I just don't understand how this relationship can go further. Especially with like so much like prison time, like their lives could literally be turned upside down. And that's for both of them. I don't get how this is actually still a thing at this stage. We then see Tommy and Holly getting freaky. Angela then receives a phone. No, Angela phones Holly, sorry, and it appears on her phone, but Tommy doesn't see that. So it just shows you that she has got Angela saved on her phone. Like, how dodgy is that? If Tommy's seen that, man, Jesus Christ. I think if she would have put it like A or something. We then get the big sit-down meeting. We get Marlo Stanfield, Ghost, Tommy, Ruiz. God damn it. The Serb. Everybody's here apart from Kanan and his crew, which everyone thinks is like a sign of disrespect, which I think is pretty fair enough. Also, earlier in the episode, Angela did task Holly with getting the gun that Tommy used. She manages to find the gun. But the question is, will it be the gun? It turns out it's not the gun. Holly's like, I'm not good with guns, but Angela threatens her here. He's like, oh, I need the gun. And obviously this kind of like prompts Holly's hand into like leaving the place, so it's not the gun. She's like, give me the gun fucking back if it's not the gun, man. If it's not the gun. We then get Sean getting taught how to shoot by Tasha, and I'm just not really a fan of this, if I'm being honest. I just, like, this guy's like Ghost's fucking bodyguard. How does he not know how to shoot, but fucking Tasha knows how to shoot? Come on, play the game. And he's even sitting there having a wee smirk. It was a funny enough scene. Tasha overhears Ghost returning with the kids, and she's like tearing up. Oh, the kids, they could potentially grow up without a daddy. It's not going to happen. Ghost then turns up, has a wee sniff around his house looking for things, but nothing particularly mental. He then has like a wee sit down with the big man, Tommy. They're having a meal. Then Holly shows up, and Ghost is like, why is this bitch not fucked off yet, man? I think it is kind of just plot purposes of keeping this Holly chick around. Surely if Ghost thought she was that much of a problem, which I mean she is, he would have just offed her. We've seen him off people for less in this show already. Like actually like people, part of his crews, etc. And we're just not really, I'm not really seeing that here with this guy at the end of the day. But Ghost says that she can go. After tonight, he'll sort it out for her. You can go. Tommy will be left in the lurch, and you won't think anything twice about it. Kenan's right-hand man then shows up at Ruiz's place and starts basically demanding straight away that they should stop speaking Spanish, it should be English. And the guy who got shot in like the heist on the Serbs like shipment, I believe that is the guy that plays the drug dealer in Saw 2. It looks like him. I pretty much immediately recognised him. But at this point, Ruiz tells Kanan's number 2, I can't even remember his name, that Here, I'll back you to the hill, big man. So, but again, where is Ken? I honestly do not understand where Kaden is. Tommy then shows back up at the apartment with Holly, and that are the handcuffs going to come back out again? It's looking that way. Sean then leaves Tasha's apartment, and her mother, right, just slaps her across the face. He's like, "You're a dumb bitch." It's just typical, like, old manipulative fucking woman shit here. It's like, you can't do this. You need Ghost in your life. Blah blah blah. What's going to happen? Typical, oh, money. He's going to take the money and you're going to be left potless. Who's going to look after these kids? Slaps her. Tasha's like, you think you're going to stay in this house after you've just fucking slapped me? And she's like, yeah, I am going to just stay in this house, Tasha, because who else is going to change the diapers tomorrow when you're cooking dinner? Fuck off, man. Like, how can they portray Tasha as this strong woman, right? And here she is taking this from her mother. Oh, but her mother's actually a stronger woman. I fucking dead on. Get in the bin. This scene was garbage. Oh, honestly, this scene actually fucking pissed me off. Not that it was garbage. Maybe that's a wee bit too extreme. For God's sake, man. This, she should have fucking bitch slapped her back, but she didn't, which I was pissed about, man. Um, Ghost then gives the tickets to Holly. It looks like Holly's leaving. She boards a flight. It is going to be all over, guys, at this rate. Or is it going to be all over? I guess we'll just have to find out with Holly this episode. Ghost then sits down and finds out that Stern is planning a divorce. Again, this is literal filler. I don't care about... I honestly don't care about the Truth nightclub anymore. I really hope that this nightclub... Like, obviously it's a way of them, like, generating money, but I just really hope it's not going to drag into the final... Like, into, like, the final seasons. I just think there's no real need for it, if I'm being honest. Ghost is then driving home. He ends up getting arrested. I think he's doing drunk driving. Greg's about to go down and question him because he's a known associate of Tommy. But then Angela steps in and says, no, it's alright, FBI guys. I'm going to step in. Tasha then looks at Angela as she's arriving, and she notices the look that Ghost gives Angela, and Angela gives Ghost, and realises, oh, they're in love. Then, when they're in the car, she's like, you know what? You're going to stay with Angela because if you're fucking her, we've got her on side. And he's actually... So the wife of Ghost here is telling Ghost to fuck his bit on the side, even though you could say they broke up at this point. Tasha's took a few L's this episode. Slapped across the face by her mother. Didn't even do anything about it. And then here she is, telling Ghost to sleep with another woman. Disgrace. She then turns back up at the car park and then she gets boned by Sean. Damn it. Angela and Ghost then meet up. And then, they have a bit of giggity to end the episode. But over back to Holly and Tommy. It's her time to handcuff Tommy. And at this point, she's like, Angela's on to me. And that I need you to testify, Ghost. And we can live free. We can live... Obviously, Tommy's not having any of this. So he gets handcuffed. And then moves on, damn it. Moves on. Handcuffed. Holly, obviously realising that she's not able to get Tommy to be on her side, leaves, and he's like, you fucking whore, I'll fucking kill you, I'll fucking kill you. I thought it was a decent end of the episode, right? But see, at this point, lines have been crossed. Tommy must know that Angela has to go, right? In episode 7, spoiler alert, he does try and kill her and Tasha has to... But how is he not confronting Ghost about it? I know you could say, oh, Ghost ain't going to get on board. But Jesus Christ... It's just I just feel like we're dragging this entire story arc out. We've revealed too much too early in the season, and now we've got to deal with it. Anyway, I'm going to give this episode a 5 out of 10. It was alright, but like I said, it feels like we're going around in circles for most of it. Ghost is dead. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. We're looking at the Season 2 finale of Bar after the cliffhanger last episode when Kanan dropped his own son in cold blood. I couldn't quite believe it, guys, and we're going to dive straight into the aftermath. And the title of this episode being called Ghost is Dead. Well, I think serious questions have got to be asked. Is Ghost even going to survive this episode? Is Ghost going to make it through the Season 2 finale? Probably not. But we do kick off the episode. We've got an unknown killer or potential killers going around killing everyone connected to the Lobos cartel. And at this point, they're throwing down cards. It looks like the work of another cartel. I can't remember their name exactly. At this point, though, Angela absolutely jobs Greg out. She has landed Greg in this, and making it look like that Greg is like an alcoholic and obsessed with her, and she's completely and utterly manipulated the law to get him shafted. And I am not joking when I say this, man, but I want Angela to die. I fucking hate the bitch, man. I'm not really a big fan of Greg, but he's been done so dirty here, and it's unbelievable. So yeah, things aren't looking good for him. Kanan's number 2 then shows up, says, I've disposed of Sean's body, and he's like, but what about when his mum asked? But he's like, and then he fucking snaps and he's like, because I know nigga go tell her what happened to Sean. And what a stupid thing to ask. Obviously here, he's going to lose the fucking melon with him. Like, let's not try and kid ourselves here. Like, why wouldn't he lose the melon with him? Of course he would. But Ghost tells Tommy that Kanan doesn't trust him, and he also believes that it's going to be a good night and that Kanan's going to be moving in off the streets. And he's, yeah, Tommy, man, he was learning it from you. That's why I wanted to know how it worked before he took over. And I just don't get, right, obviously, right, they're trying to build, Tommy and, well, not build, but they've established at this point that Tommy and Ghost, they have this relationship. How many times has Tommy double-crossed Ghost or Ghost double-crossed Tommy? Now, we can say, they're not serious double-crosses. I would say getting in bed with Angela is a fucking serious double-cross, man. But every scene between these two will end in their own wee personal fucking handshake. No, I'm not a fan of this, man. I think it's actually quite garbage, their handshake. I've never seen a show where so many people, like, flip-flop and pretend to, like, be friends with each other and point guns. To me, that way, it's a bit of a mess. Like, there's just no sense of, like, loyalty and, like, brotherhood to these guys. Honestly, Tommy then confronts Kanan. Kanan says, well, the fact you got arrested and Lobo's got arrested and Ghost didn't proves that Ghost is turned. He's trying to push us all out, man. So it looks like Kanan is trying to work with Tommy here. Tommy's trying to work with Kanan, but of course this is what Ghost told Tommy to go and do. Work with Kanan, try and get Kanan on side. But Kanan wants to kill Ghost. And Kanan here also tells Tommy that he didn't even kill that bitch in Miami, and he actually was the one that set up Kanan for the 10-year stint that he did inside. So at this point, why can't Tommy does like take this information on board and confront Ghost about it? But there's so much lies going on in this TV show, man. It's honestly like where do we even begin at this point? Then the Serb, he gets out of his sauna. He ends up getting killed. Another card placed on him. I wonder who's doing all these killings. Then the FBI confront Lobos, and Lobos, it's not looking good for Big Lobos here. Absolutely not. He's told here that everybody connected to him is getting killed, and they're like, we need to protect you. You're going to die next. And he's like, me no speak English. Tommy then confronts Ghost about the whole situation, but Kanan, Ghost plays it off as like, he's crazy. You know what 10 years does inside, man. But surely a part of Tommy wants to believe that Ghost is the one that set Kanan away. Surely that's going to have to come. Oh, right, Kanan's told Ghost, but the only way Tommy's realistically going to believe it is if Ghost tells Tommy that he did. The way this episode goes, I just don't understand why they would tell Tommy this information, because realistically, he doesn't even. I'm lost. Honestly, with this show, I'm lost. Like Tommy's stuck in the middle, and it's like, Tommy, it's time to sink or swim. And honestly, like, why wouldn't he pick Kanan over Ghost? Like, why wouldn't he? It makes zero sense why he would pick Ghost over Kanan. Ghost is the guy that's fucking all. He's been out. Tommy confronts him. Oh no, you can't go out this life. Blah blah blah. Then next episode, there's then a wee special handshake. To me, that's fucking garbage, right? And my opinion ain't going to change it. Now the shot of them in New York with the snow looking over the bridge, I like that. Holly then shows up, gives Tommy the ID, and proves that Ghost sent her away. So obviously now Tommy has got another reason to dislike Ghost even more. We then see Lobos, he gets attacked in prison. Turns out, right, he is just, well, he gets attacked and then he's in like critical care, but he wakes up by the time the end of the episode goes. But let's be real, right, we get to the showdown that we're all talking about here. We get Ghost versus Kanan. But before we do get that, we do get like Kanan's number 2 going to Ghost and talk about the fact that Kanan killed Sean. And at this point, you think, right, he's joined Ghost's side, but then he gets back in the car with Kanan. Kanan's like, well, did that motherfucker take it like it's fucking medicine. You know? So it's kind of like, what side's this guy truly on at this point? But then we get the showdown. Ghost and Kanan. And yeah, Ghost has the gun on Kanan. Then they get into a bit of a brawl. Kanan gets the upper hand. Looks like Kanan. You know what? This is a good fight, right? I'm not going to bury this show for every reason, right? This was a good fight between, like, two of the main characters, two of the main gangsters, so to speak, Ghost and Kanan, right? But Kanan eventually gets on top of Ghost, and not in that way. He puts, like, the big plastic bag around his fucking head, and, like, Ghost is, like, about to pass out, man. He's about to die. He's about to succumb to 50 Cent. But then, how about this one? He hits him with a full dollar. He picks up a bit of glass, and say a bit of glass, it is literally like a tiny bit of glass here. And I've never been stabbed by a bit of glass, right? Like in the stomach or whatever. But he stabs him in the stomach. Kanan falls over. He coughs up a bit of blood. And then he passes out. Then Ghost sets the whole place on fire and leaves, right? Now, at this point, I was like, there's no way they've just killed Kanan. But then, last episode, I was like, there's no way he just killed his legitimate son. But apparently he did. So I'm sitting here like, that's Kanan dead, man. Kanan is dead. Does turn out at the end of the episode that Kanan is alive because we see the fire department get there and they're like, the whole place is burnt to the ground. But there's no fatalities. And of course, there's no fatalities. Kanan made it out. Now, I guess you could argue someone moved his body, but no, we're not arguing that. 50 Cent is still alive, and for me, this death would have absolutely sucked. Like, he gets stabbed once. It wasn't like Ghost went to town on him with like 6 or 7 stabs. No, it was like one stab. After this, Tommy then confronts Ghost. He's like, "What about Monica, huh?" Monica, of course, was the fake ID that she gave, that Ghost gave her. So yeah, at this point, things aren't looking good for Tommy because then he gets like numerous guns pointed at him, and it's damn. Tommy's told to leave. Damn it, Ghost is dead. And right, this is where the episode just loses me at this point because now Ghost is dead. The Lobos network is wiped out. Ruiz went to California because Ghost didn't actually want to kill Ruiz. He killed the rest of them. Turns out it was Ghost doing all these killings this episode. And for me, this ending just sucked. Like, we've spent like almost these past 2 seasons with Angela and Ghost getting in this relationship. Oh, she's FBI lawyer, and he's like, you know, he's the top criminal of this network, and they both now know about each other, and now what? They're getting back together. It's almost like these past 2 seasons of this show have been fucking pointless in a way. And how many times is Tommy going to let Ghost betray him? Surely now, Ghost and Tommy's relationship must be in tatters, and that Tommy must. I'm praying going forward in this show that Tommy's going to side with Kanan. Come on, man. That just has to be. Why would Tommy back the horse of Ghost? He knows all about this thing that Ghost went around and killed everybody now. That has to be it, man. That has to be it. But anyway, guys, that is where this episode ends. Tommy did receive a phone call while he was out with Angela. And he's basically told to kill Ghost. So yeah. What's he going to do? But he season 3 begins, they're going to do a wee special handshake, and he's like, "Oh, Ghost, someone told me to kill you. Ah, you wee rascal, you big man." Anyway, you know what? For a season finale, a lot happened. But at the same time, not a lot happened, because that's what Power does. A lot happens, and then the characters just like end up forgiving each other like within 10 minutes. So yeah, I'm going to give this. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. They just need to write it better. But until next time, peace. It's time for the penultimate episode of Par. And this one is called Time's Up. But who will the time be up for, guys? Let's find out. Let's dive into it. And we kick off the episode with a montage about Thomas Egan. He is absolutely getting read his rights, so to speak. He's going through his rights. He's getting stripped. He's getting cavity searched. He's, "You one ugly motherfucker." And the person who called him an ugly motherfucker was quite ugly themselves, which I thought was quite funny. But yeah, he's adjusting to prison life, and you know what? I was thinking here, maybe big Thomas Patrick Egan's gonna get like 6 years rammed up his arse soon. He could spend like the next 2 or 3 seasons in jail. I was wrong, but his lawyer, of course, is the guy that Ghost hired last time out, and it was an interesting seeing the court battle here between Angela, Sachs, and the lawyer and Tommy. I enjoyed this scene, but he's been rejected bail, so yeah, not looking good for him, obviously. But I kind of guessed at this point that it would be looking a wee bit better. Tasha then finds out about everyone getting arrested. She's like, where the fuck is Ghost? And obviously, with everything closing in here, we've got Tasha coming up with a master plan. She's like, Sean, me and you need to leave. So it looks like Tasha's going to leave with Sean at the end of this episode. Like, I feel like with a show, they're kind of just throwing shit against the wall and hoping it sticks sometimes. I mean, is it entertaining? Yes, but I feel like the storylines are all over the place at points. Even though, like, it's a weird way to describe it. Like, the main storyline that basically every character's involved with, but how they get to the end is just a bit of a fucking mess, to be honest. It really is. And you know what? I'm honestly getting sick of Ghost and Angela. You know, I really, really am. Sean then sits down with Kanan. He's like, all right, you're going to drive Ghost down this alleyway. You're going to drop him with the silencer on, and no one will see the flash because you're in the SUV with the big tinted windows. Then you've got to drive over here, and we'll get rid of the body. And you know, I don't like about this, right? I like TV shows when a hit is ordered, and you genuinely believe that the person who the hit is ordered on has a realistic chance of dying. I just knew that Ghost wasn't going to die here. I just knew he wasn't going to die. And you just knew it was going to blow back and blow up in Sean's lap. And spoiler alert, that's exactly what happens. Tasha confronts Ghost and obviously ain't happy about the proceedings. He's like, oh, you've got to trust me. Everything that's happening with Tommy is going to go according to plan. Will this go according to plan? Who knows? Ghost then walks in to Truth and he's digging up dirt on Stern. How's that going to go? Tune back in the finale, because I certainly do not care about it in the slightest. But yeah, then we have everyone meeting. Got the Serb meeting with Ken, and they're like, oh, you promised us that Ghost would be dead, but now our connection, now the link up, now the pipeline, and Lobo's, he's also in jail. So how's this going to work? Kaden, obviously his master plan has came crashing to the ground with all these crews at this point. So we're intriguing to see where all this is going to go down. Kenan then rings Sean, you know, kind of, you're going to kill Ghost, man. But at this point, he doesn't do it. He says he can't do it. It's a no-go. Going to have to try again. Can't kill him. Can't kill Ghost. Kenan disappointed at this. So yeah, it's time for plan B, motherfucker. And then we see the interrogation. We have Sachs, we have Greg's grilling Tommy, but obviously he's not going to give up Lobo's. But then they bring in his mum for emotional leverage. Doesn't really give much away, this, does it? Like, I mean, it's just kind of... She's like, they're going to take away the fucking house. I mean, she doesn't do a good case for Tommy, but realistically, like, where was this ever going to end? But Ghost is obviously cooking something here, and what he's cooking is the drawn photo ID from Ruiz's daughter, and he is going to give that up to as evidence, and therefore, obviously, testimony from an unlawful 14-year-old girl giving up Tommy. It just seems like prejudice, doesn't it? They're trying to shaft, they're trying to figure Tommy, and that is what happens here. That is exactly what Ghost does. Angela confronts Tommy and says, I don't know why Ghost is doing all this for you. Well, he says, I don't know why James is doing all this for you. Do you really know him, Angela? And she's like, yeah, he wants you alive. I don't know why. You're a two-bit criminal. Never liked each other, sort of shit. I almost got the impression here that, like, Tommy slept with Angela before Ghost. Like, that's kind of what the vibe it was giving me, especially when she screamed at him. But turns out he gets acquitted and he's able to go home. Angela then confronts Ghost about this. Like, how the fuck could you do this to me? And then at this point, this is when she, I guess you could say, like 110% confirmation, finding out that Angela is, in fact, found out that Ghost is James, or James is Ghost, whatever you want to talk about. Ghost is in truth. He goes through the back way, and then who confronts him? It's Sean at gunpoint. Sean's like, you can't look after Tasha, you're never there, you're cheating on her, you jobbed out my dad, you sent him for 10 years in the can, yada yada yada. James like, no real father would tell his son to do this. Now, they've alluded to quite a lot in this episode that Kenan isn't actually Sean's dad, or is it just a case of Kenan doesn't give a fuck about his son, he's just in life for himself? I think it might be that. And, the next couple of events that happen after this are pretty mental, but essentially what happens is Ghost gets the upper hand on Sean and tells him to run, tells him to be free. You know what? I'll say fair play to Ghost here. He was within his rights to kill him. He absolutely was. Greg then confronts Angela, and it looks like these two are going to team up to bring down Ghost. She's like, he outsmarted me, man. Oh, we have to work together to bring him down. Ghost then picks up Tommy from outside the prison. So Tommy's free. Tasha is wondering where Sean is. Sean makes one wee pit stop though. He confronts Kanan and he's like, the whole reason you wanted me to get close to Ghost is because you wanted to kill him. You were using me, Dad. He's like, he's right about you. You're not a father. And like, you know what? See Kanan. He's not going to win any Father of the Year rewards, right? But at the end of the day, can he not see, even if he even admits to using Sean, he's like, yeah, I did it before you get close, we get info on Ghost, blah, 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 whatever. But how can Sean really take Ghost's side over this? Him and Kanan are both criminals. I think Kanan's more worse, like, morally. But at the end of the day, like, Kanan's your dad, and here you are. It's almost like he's fucking taking the side, like, he is taking the side of Ghost. And then he's like, you're not my father. And then Kanan's like, shoots him. He's like, yeah, you're damn right. You're not my fucking son. You're weak. You're no son of mine. I'm fucking proud of you being my boy. Shoots him in the stomach. Sean's bleeding out. And I'm thinking, right, is Kanan just going to leave him here to bleed out? Is he going to ring for an ambulance? No, he fucking shoots him in the head. He's like, you ain't no fucking son of mine. And he's absolutely just dropped Sean. Now, is it going to come out that he's not actually his son or something? Or what's going on here? Because this is fucking crazy that he's actually killed his son. That he would go to this. I mean, I like the Kenan character. I love 50 Cent, but to me, this is almost like showbreak. A guy would kill his own son. Like, and you know, it's not even like Alvarez and Sons where he gives the okay because his son fucked up. Here he is. He shoots his son, who's not even in this life. Really, like his son botched. And he shoots his son in the stomach and fucking shoots him in the head. It's a bit weird, but you know what? This episode was alright. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It was action-packed and it left on a cliffhanger like, what the fuck is going to happen, guys? But anyway, didn't see much of Lobos in jail, so we'll see some of that in the finale. But yeah, guys, it's a 7 out of 10 for me. Until next time, peace. I'm 3 moves ahead, man. Welcome back, guys, to episode 8 of season 2 of Par. And what could Par deliver in this episode? I've seen someone comment that Par for episode 3, episode 8, and episode 10 being the best episodes of the season. Well, was this one of the best episodes of the season? I'm not too sure. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. Let's break it down. We do kick off the episode with the cartel guy. He's in the bathtub. He's receiving head. And just to confirm, this guy is gay. Which I kind of thought, just the way his mannerisms and the way he got on. Big cartel boss, wearing mascara, and is gay. Oh, Par, it's a big rich town. Yeah. But essentially, the gist of this conversation is this guy he wants Ghost to handle things so he doesn't have to deal with this right here, right now, right here. And we see Ghost talking to Tasha, and it just seems a bit extreme here that Ghost now wants to wipe out Lobos. Like, it seems like it's came from nowhere, to be honest. Tommy confronts Ghost about this, and he's like, we can never get out. Ghost's idea is we wipe out Lobos, we get all the money, and we can just quit. Like, how would that work? Like, we get all the money? Like, would your crew not be like, well, what the fuck? We've just sold all this money, and here you are trying to sell it. Ridiculous. Kanan is back. Sean confronts him. He's like, Uncle T wants to see you, man. Uncle T wants to see you. But, of course, we're getting this big meeting later on with the cartel and look that Lobos is the cartel. Lobos, Tommy, and we think Ghost is going. Angela doesn't really know about where it's going down, but the FBI think it's going down at one location. But of course, Angela, figure it out. Ghost then sits down with Lobos. Lobos tells Ghost that he wants out of the picture and he wants you to run New York. You can be my New York guy, and then my other guys can run their bits. So fair enough. Is that going to go according to plan? I'm not too sure, but it looks like at this point we've got this meat strapped down, this meat locked down. Kanan, though, he's talking to his number 2. He's talking about making moves. It looks like they're just trying to push everybody that's connected with Ghost and Tommy's crews against Tommy Tommy and Ghost themselves. It's more Ghost though. Like they're kind of like, yeah, Tommy and Ghost come as a deal together. But no, it gets me though. I just don't understand. Everything that Ghost has done, and Tommy is like backing this guy to the hills. It doesn't make much sense for me personally. It's almost like a show breaker. Like this guy's literally sleeping with the enemy. He's sleeping with Angela, who's like on the verge of like bringing this your criminal organization down. And like Tommy just lets it slide, and he just doesn't seem like the sort of guy that'd be like that. To be honest, it just seems a bit ridiculous. One of the lawyers then gets a shipment dropped off, but he can't afford to pay for it. And he's like, "I know you're not going to beat me up." He's like, "You're Cuban." He's like, "I'm not fucking Cuban, man." Which I thought it was a funny scene. Then Ghost goes to him later on, and he manages. That's his new lawyer. Ho ho. Quality, man. Tommy then confronts Tasha. It's like, Ghost has completely lost his way. Now he wants to kill Lobos. What the fuck is going on? And Tasha's like, maybe it's a good idea. But then Tasha finds out for Tommy that it's because of I was about to say I deleted it. What am I all about? Lol, but what Tommy meant was he says that he thinks Ghost is trying to run with the money, and then that puts the idea in Tasha's head that holy shit, he's trying to run with the money, and he's going to take Angela with him, which I mean I think is a pretty mighty accusation. I just don't like this, man. You've got all these affairs going on, and people alright just fucking jobbing deals out and shit, left, right, and centre. I just honestly, Sean gets confronted by Ken, and he's like, "So how long you been hitting Tasha?" And then he's like, "Oh," he's like, "Well, if you're hitting Tasha, her and Ghost fucking tried to bring me down. They're the ones who put me in jail, son. You don't see that?" It's like, what sort of special intel's Tasha telling you? And he's like, "She told me about the meet where Ghost is having it," and that's how Kaden finds it. So Kaden's like, maybe this relationship could be used. So Kaden goes sit down with Ruiz, and will Kaden be able to get Ruiz on board and the rest of them? That is the big talking point here, and I like these sit downs. I like the fact we've established these crews and they can sit down and talk. And then Ruiz goes to the Serb, tells him that they're thinking about moving away, and Serb's like, "Why would we do this?" And then he tells him about the fact that Tommy and Ghost are the ones that hit his shipments, and then he tells him, "It was like, because I was the one there, I was actually a part of it." So yeah, this Serb's a crazy motherfucker. It seems like at this point, like you've got all these people against Tommy and Ghost. Tommy and Ghost. I'm really intrigued to see how that gets handled. The Serb doesn't really want to buy this, but then Kanan and the rest of the crews that come down that are totally against Figgy. So at this point, it's really not looking good for Tommy and Ghost. For being honest, Angela and Ghost then get it on. Angela then follows Tommy and Ghost, and she sees them both going into a hotel. She then rings Greg, telling Greg that no, this meeting's happening at this hotel. So at this point, this is what's absolutely crazy here. Because this is when the FBI decide, well, we're not going to listen to our point of view. We are going to go to this hotel that Angela's set up. And then we see the FBI raid the hotel here. A couple of shots go off. You're led to believe it. Oh, could Ghost be dead? Turns out Lobos' bodyguard is killed in the process of all this. Tommy is arrested. He is like slabbering. He is hurling insults at Angela. So Lobos is arrested. Tommy is arrested. So I mean, this would be for this. It was pretty good. And then Sean confronts Kenan about this, and then he's like, "We need Ghost dead, son." And then obviously number two isn't very happy that Sean is being tasked with killing Ghost, and he's like, he's the only one that he can trust. I will do it. So I'm interested to see that. We did see where Ghost was in the hotel. And he actually seen that Angela was on the phone, and now he knows that Angela's completely turned bad. And I think Angela's dying. I honestly, I just do not see much room for her going forward into like season 3. Surely this is a line that's been crossed at this point. Absolutely been crossed. She then receives a text from Ghost saying about, "Oh, I had to use this is my new phone, blah blah blah," and then she just gets rid of the burner that she had that was obviously connected to his phone, getting the text. And Greg also, though, he wants to know who our source is tomorrow. So I mean, a lot of things are up in the air. A lot of stuff happened this episode, but I don't. It just felt very muddled, to be honest. And I feel like we're just forcing this storyline of keeping Angela with Ghost and Angela alive. And I'm not a fan of it, but you know what? I think it was one of the better episodes we've had in a while, so I am going to give it a 7 out of 10, guys. But anyway, that will do it for episode 8 of season 2 of Par. 7 out of 10. I'm in a big rich town, episode 7 of Par, and it is called You're Not the Man. You're Not the Man Anymore. Prospect. It's season 2, it's episode 7. Let's see how this begins. Well, it begins with Ghost looking in Angela's eyes. Can I really trust you, damn it? I don't know if she can trust herself. We then see Tasha and Ghost having like this like breakfast kind of an update about what's happening with Angela. But you know what's really weird about this? It's like they're sitting on these high chairs and like Ghost just looks weird sitting with his legs this high up and like a weird's like, hey, would you like the orange juice, sir? But yeah, Tommy has managed to free himself. He does a couple of lines of drugs. He's freaking out, and Ghost comes over. He's like, everything's all right, everything's all right, Tommy, everything's all right. Go stay, and then like you can kind of clearly kind of see that there's tension between these two, and no wonder, to be honest, at this stage of the game. But at the same time, I'm not really a fan of Tommy just like doing drugs like this here. I'm not saying like some TV characters don't do drugs, but I'm not a fan of like big junky wasters. But I guess when you're in that world, you can get very much accustomed to it, so to speak. But for me, it's not for me. Doing drugs is not for me. I know this is folks, we're hitting it real here, but Tommy Egan with the whole day in drugs thing, he's going down in my estimation, personally. Still a good character, still funny, but yeah, not for me all that shite. Anyway, maybe that's just a pet peeve of mine, I don't know. Up next, what have we got here? We have got Angela and Greg trying to present their case in a court of law, and he's like, I'll get you a warrant, but it seems like you're just harassing these people, man. What are you doing? You cannot do this. Is this really going to work? Who knows if it's going to work at this point. Ghost then meets with Kanan's number 2. I need to remember this guy's name or else we're going to have a serious problem. But, just a wee conversation here about, where's Kanan? Oh, I'll hit you up with Kanan. He's like, oh, you want to get off the corner street? He does spot Sean. Throughout this episode, Sean is on his phone. And every time like Ghost gets near him, he hangs up. Like, come on, you're not doing a very good job, Sean, of trying to keep it discreet. Like, Jesus Christ. I just don't understand his problem. But throughout this episode, Tommy's freaking out in the laundromat. Of course, they're trying to move all this money. But he gets a hunch. So he decides that they needed to switch out the money. So they all go out in the fan while the rest, like the workers, take the money. And it turns out he was right as the police pull him over. And Greg was supervising this stop. But nothing happened here, and of course Tommy's hunch was good, so Tommy, of course, is freaking out. And no wonder he's freaking out. This could have been bad. Well, I say this could have been bad. This would have been absolutely fucking monumental. We do see Ghost. I mean, the stuff he's doing with, like, Stern's wife and the Truth nightclub, I've said about it in previous episodes, it's just losing everything for me in the last couple of episodes. I just don't care for it, personally. Like, in like, oh, he uses one of the waitresses here to get in. I can't even remember the guy's name. The guy who's now like basically running Truth, while Ghost is like the number 2. The guy who was like his number 2 last season, I have no idea. I can't even remember the guy's name. I should probably write his name down. But if he was that important, I think I'd remember his name. But I'll be honest, guys, the show, I'm losing faith in the show. I don't know what. Well, I know what it is. I just feel like this whole who's Ghost, Angela, them trying to figure. It just seems like they're going fucking round in circles. Honestly, like it needs to pick up. I mean, I will obviously finish it, but it started. Well, there's so much intrigue. This like universe, which I feel like they've already established in my eyes, but at the same time, I'm just not a fan of this whole going around in fucking circles thing. Like Angela, like each episode, her and Ghost, you gotta tell me the truth. I can't tell you. Tommy, this isn't about Tommy, right? I mean, come on, it's getting mentioned every 3 fucking seconds. I feel like it is a wee bit embarrassing at this point. We do have Angela. She's freaking out, trying to figure out who is it, what's she going to do here, and essentially she's trying to find out an identity for Holly, in order to get her track down where she is. But throughout the episode, she kind of thinks that it was Ghost that did it, but then Ghost kind of freaks out. After Angela leaves, after like threatening, like, oh, we're done, and then he's like, I gave her the fake ID, I did it to protect her from Tommy. So yeah, here he is. He finally admitted to it, which I'm kind of shocked about at this point. Ghost then meets with Ruiz. It's just like Ruiz, you just get a feeling like this whole organisation is going to come crumbling down at any point, because the level of trust is just non-existent between all of them. I just like. I mean, you could argue, yeah, it's probably nice, and at this point, but all the crews are getting their money together for a Ghost. Of course, Lobo is in town soon. He's going to want that money, but Tommy is showing his frustrations at Ghost about Angela that she needs to go. Tommy is about to kill Angela, but guess what? Tasha shows up and stops Tommy from killing Angela because that's what happened. Damn it! That is what he told Tasha to do. He won't listen to me, Tasha, but he'll listen to you. You'll be the one that stops him killing Angela. Like what? So like Ghost can't stop him from, but Tasha, I can't believe that she's actually like backing this horse of like I'll protect the woman. Oh, I know I know they're going under the logic of oh she thinks she can use Angela to prevent her from hurting them, but fucking, but they're trying to portray her as strong at the same time. It's like, no, this woman's bedding your husband, and you're just letting that happen, man. Absolute mess. Tommy then and Tasha are speaking in a bar, and then she gets these two redheads, like, oh, these two women like a word with you. Then we get a threesome between Tommy and these two women. This literally went nowhere. Like, it was just a threesome, and then the one who he didn't finish it is like, I need more dick, Tommy. She's like, go fuck yourself, take the fucking dog. And he's like, no, actually, no, give me the fucking dog. Which I thought was funny. Angela then confronts Holly at the location she managed to track her down. But at this point, Ghost was actually on the phone on loudspeaker, listened to the whole conversation, and everything that Holly said is what Ghost wanted her to say to feed to Angela. While this is going on, Ghost is actually going through the evidence sheet where it turns out the witness that gave up Tommy is Ruiz's daughter. And I tell you what, if this actually goes down a path of where they order the hit on killing Ruiz's like 14-year-old daughter, which I don't think they will, but I will be fucking shocked. And to be honest, it would make no sense for Ghost's character to want to do that. To be honest, like he'll kill a 14-year-old, but he won't kill his girlfriend who's like literally jobbing him out left, right, and centre. Honestly, bit of a mess in my personal opinion. But yeah, the crews are kind of freaking out about the whole money situation. You can clearly see here that the trust is just not building. But then, as the episode ends, Lobos has arrived in New York. Damn it! And then Angela, we see, is actually putting in a link into Ghost's phone, and she's getting a copy of his phone, so she will be able to receive messages that he's received, but she won't be able to receive phone calls. So, yeah, it's like anything that he's going to do. Let's be real, it's going to be over a phone call. And even like I've watched the next episode, it's not like he even texted anything that would incriminate himself. When usually he would do stuff. Maybe not text, but what's the difference between speaking and text? Like, if they've tapped your phone, you would not do either between texting or speaking. But guys, that is pretty much how this episode went down. We saw Sean get confronted by Ghost who said, I don't trust you anymore ever since your father got out. Then that makes Ghost demand where Kanan is, and then we see the big man. Sean goes into the hood and he's like, where the fuck's my dad? And he gets a bit of a warning, but of course with the whole history with Kanan and the fact this is his son, you feel like they would give him a bit more respect, but who knows, guys. But for this episode, I didn't really enjoy it. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Come on, Par, surprise me.